On this episode, we have decided to go ahead and pull out the 1967 Buick Riviera from storage. We acquired this car in the fall of 2024. We are looking to get this car started. It has not been started in over 20 years, and see what kind of condition the engine and transmission is in. Naomi and I, we've been just wanting to kind of drive a car around that we can just kind of cruise around in. It doesn't need to look perfect. We just want to kind of cruise around and it's something that we can enjoy while we're still restoring her Cougar and my truck. So with this project here, we're just going to get it running and get it in a good condition where we can drive it. As you can see, the body on this vehicle is in really good shape for the age of it. It does have some faded paint, some chipped paint, but it only has a few dents here and there. Overall, the vinyl top is in really nice condition. This vehicle has 71,000 original miles on it. Once we assess the engine here, we're going to try to get it started and get it running and see what kind of condition this is in. And then from there, if it runs really good, we're going to go ahead and get some tires put on it. We're going to check the front and rear brakes and make sure that they're in good condition so that we can try to get this thing back on the road and be safe with it while out cruising around. It does have a factory big block in it. It's a 430 with, from the factory, about 360 horsepower. The interior is not too bad as well. We are going to have to get the interior cleaned up. It does have a little bit of a musty odor to it, but I think that'll clean up just fine, and we'll be able to use this vehicle to cruise around and just have a little bit of fun. Well, I want to thank you for joining us on another episode of Wog's World of Wrecks. I'm Paulie Woggs, and welcome to the shop. Let's get to it.
Good morning.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to get started by cleaning out this engine bay. As you can see, it's got a lot of mice nests, rats nests in it, and it just overall needs to be cleaned up before we start digging our noses down in here and getting stuff filled into our lungs. We don't want to make ourselves sick. We want to keep ourselves healthy. So we're going to go ahead and put a mask on here and start cleaning this up. And then from here, we're going to see what else we can do to try to get this thing started and running. Oh, yeah. Oh, that was my microphone. All right, well, when it comes to trying to get a car like this started that has been parked for so many years, you don't want to just put a key in it and turn it over and try to crank it right away without assessing whether or not it's got any oil in it or even the condition of the oil and see how bad it is. Make sure it doesn't have any antifreeze or any water mixed in with it, especially since it's been sitting so long out in the open. Moisture and stuff can get down through the carburetor ports and it can get in there, it can really rust things up. So you just don't want to go in there and just try to crank things over. The pistons, they've got rings that go around them that help seal and seal the oil in. And those rings, if they get caught on a piece of rust coming up and down the cylinders, they can crack and break. And then the condition of the engine could be a lot worse than if you just took it easy from the beginning. So what we're going to do here on this one is we're going to go ahead and pull the dipstick on the oil and check the condition of the oil, make sure that it looks and feels good. Of course, obviously it's going to be old, but we can still start the engine off that old oil as long as it's not got anything else mixed in with it. So we're going to go ahead and pull that, check that, and then we're going to go ahead and from there, we're still not going to crank it over right away. We're going to get down here with a wrench or a socket and a ratchet of some sort. We're going to see if we can spin the engine over nice and smooth all on its own. Make sure that it doesn't stick anywhere, because again, even if the oil looks okay, there could still be some rust in the cylinder walls, and we don't want to damage any of those piston rings if possible. Well, as we can see, the oil there looks pretty good. It is definitely dark and old. It might even be overfilled a little bit. No, it's right on the fill line. So that's a good sign. So there is no water or anything mixed in with it. So our next step is to go ahead and see how smoothly it turns over by hand. Well, that's not good. As you can see, I tried to turn that over by hand. There's a popping noise that came back here from the starter area. So it's a possibility that the starter was just stuck. Maybe that's why they parked the car years ago. Maybe something happened and they weren't quite sure what was wrong with it. But as you can see, this is not quite turning over. Over here, it looks like the belts are stuck. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get a socket. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get a socket down here on the actual crank and see if we can turn it over that way. All right, so we got the fan out of the way to make it easier to get a socket down in here and onto this pulley down here and see what we can figure out. Well, that's a good sign. It's actually starting to turn. All right, well, I've gotten one complete revolution out of this engine, and it doesn't seem to be sticking anywhere. So I think if we wanted to try to turn the starter over, we'd be able to do that without damaging any internal parts. But first, before we do that, I want to pull the spark plugs out, get a look at those, clean those up a little bit, put those back in, and assess the wires, and also pull the cap off here, try to clean the points that are in there. I don't want to try to put any money into it yet. I'm just curious if we can get it to start off of all the old parts that are currently here. All right, so just removing the first spark plug here. As you can see, it's what I was a little worried about, but like I said, again, the engine turns over fine, but you can see that there is rust on this plug from where it's been sitting. So, but all in all, it's not too bad. It doesn't look like it's severely rusted, just a little bit there. So we'll move on. All right, so I've jacked the vehicle up and I've gone down below and I've hooked up a trigger to the starter. So when I get ready here to try to turn this thing over, I can do that without having to use the key inside, which is actually a good thing because I don't even have the key for the car. When we bought the car, the key was not available at the time that we bought it. So I'm going to have to figure out how to cross the wires over in there for this thing to even start up. But for right now, we do have the remote starter linked over here. I'm going to go ahead and get the battery swapped out. Once I get the battery swapped out, we're also going to check the compression on these cylinders just to see how the condition of the compression is for the engine and to try to get a health status here on it. Look at that battery tie down. That's some ingenuity right there. All right, loose enough. Hey, all right. All right, well, those battery cables aren't the best looking, but we're going to go ahead and see if this starter will turn over. Wow, something is caught back there, as I was originally thought when I tried to turn the engine over by hand. Sounds like that starter doesn't want to kick in. Maybe we bang it with a hammer or knock it around. Maybe it'll actually start working. Let's see what we can do. No go. All right, let's go ahead and pull that starter out and see if we can get it working. All right, so I got the old starter out and I put it up on the bench, and we tried to get this thing to start. My cousin and I, he was here helping me out last weekend. This is a different weekend, but we tried to get this starter going. We tried to clean it up with no luck. We couldn't get it going. So this starter is out. We won't be able to use this one, but luckily, I just so happen to have this one in my back pocket. This nice brand new remanufactured one from AC Delco. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this one installed. And once I get this installed, we'll go ahead and see if we can get this engine to turn over. All right, well, after getting the starter installed that was inside my back pocket, I think we're ready to try to crank this thing over. All right, that sounds a whole lot better than the last attempt we tried to make on it. So now what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna go ahead and hook up my compression tester and see what the compression is on all of these cylinders before we put it all back together with the spark plugs and see if it starts. All right, so let's see what our most forward cylinder has here for pressure. All right, it looks like about 100 pounds of pressure there for the first one, which that's not too bad, not for as long as it's been sitting. All right, well, I did most of the other cylinders, and it's right around 90 to 100 psi for the rest of them. I did have two over here that I didn't test, just because my battery started getting low and I don't want to run out of power to actually try to start this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and stick it on a charger to bring its charge back up a little bit. But I'm pretty well confident that the other two are going to be fine as well. So we're going to go ahead and get the battery charger put on it. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can't get some electrical power to the coil here. And I'm going to go ahead and put the spark plugs back in at the original ones. Because again, I just want to see if this thing is going to start off the original parts before I sink a lot of money into it. So we're going to go ahead and we'll do all that, and then I'll bring the camera back on when we try to actually start it. All right, so in our next process here, we're trying to see if I can get this thing to start and run off the old parts. So I've got the distributor cap off here. We were checking it for spark down here, and I did not have spark at first at the points, which are down here on the distributor. I'm not sure if the camera can pick this up or not, but basically I removed the points, cleaned them up, and I re-gapped them, and now we're getting a spark down here at the points. So I'm going to go ahead and crank it over, and we'll see if the camera can pick it up. This area down here is roughly where you want to look at to see that spark. So we'll see if the camera picks this up. All right, real quick for fun, I did turn the light of the camera off to see if maybe the camera can pick up that spark now. So we're going to try it again. All right, so I've taken the camera off the tripod. I've got it down here on the spark tester, and you can actually see that that cleaning the points and readjusting them and cleaning the cap actually worked. You'll see that this does spark now. All right, so I have all the spark plugs put back in it, and to my knowledge, these are the original spark plugs, but if not, they've probably only been changed once. But everything is still the original from what came with the car when we got it. So the old cap, the old wires, the old points, everything is what was in it when we got it. So it doesn't have any new parts on it other than the starter that we put on it. So we're ready to see if this thing's going to crank over. Obviously, I don't expect the fuel pump to work, and I don't even expect the fuel in the tank to be good. So I've got some starting fluid here. We're going to spray down in this carburetor and we're going to give it a shot here and see what happens. She starts and runs. Let's see how long we can keep her going here.
Whoa.
I'm going to put it out. Just a minor setback. It runs good.
Yeah.
No knocking. All right, so we got it to run for a couple of seconds there. I don't want to try to keep it running. As you can see, it backfired there on us and started a small fire, which is no big deal. We're able to put that out, but the motor sounds good. It doesn't have any kind of knocking or anything like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and I went ahead and ordered a whole bunch of other parts for it, but I wasn't sure if it was gonna be worth it to put them on. So now that I know the engine runs good, we're gonna go ahead and start putting those other parts on. So we'll do that, and then maybe we can get a nice, good, smoothing car here that we can use as a little bit of a cruising vehicle, but we'll save that for the next video. This will be the end of this one. Glad you could join us, and thanks again for watching. Wiki, 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 pow.